This week we're going to be looking at what little checks that we should be doing on our caravan just over the winter. Even if we're not going to be using the van, there's still things that we're going to want to be checking on, making sure that we've not got issues, etc. So we're going to have a little walk around and have a quick look and see what we should be checking on. You might not be using your caravan, you might not be thinking about using your caravan for a while, but it's still, you can't literally just put it away and forget about it. There is checks that we're going to have to do. So one of the checks on the outside is just making sure all of our tyres are up to pressure. Now you might be able to see that actually that tyre is a little bit low at the moment, so we need to get a bit of pressure. The problem that we've got is if we leave those tyres in an under pressure situation, it is just going to cause more damage and more cracking, and we're also going to really ideally want to try and move the caravan slightly. Now that's not the most convenient thing if you've got wheel locks on there that go through. It is a bit of a faff, to be fair, having to take those off and move the caravan around and into a different spot, but it is going to save you money in the long run because it is going to stop those tyres having damage and just wearing out quicker. So one of the first things that you really want to have a good look at, and again just have a make sure, if you've not already had the caravan serviced yet, just make sure there's no cracks on there, and possibly just overinflate the tyres so you've just got a little bit more actual pressure in those tyres, and it's just going to save those tyres for you basically. We're going to want to make sure that all of our windows are catched properly, and all of our window rails, we've got no loose rails or anything like that that could potentially cause any leaks or any damage or any future issues. So again, just going through, you don't want to be pulling too hard because obviously we don't want to damage the window, but we just want to make sure that everything is nice and secure. All of our rails, all of our panels, that we've not got any cracks or damage or anything like that. And again, it's probably a good idea, just if, again, it's not always the easiest if it's on the driving in a funny position or something like that, but if we can get the vehicle onto here and actually just check all of our lights, just make sure everything is still working as it is. It may be that you say, well, I've only put the caravan away and I checked all the lights then, but unfortunately because of all the weather etc, it will just get corrosion on the parts and in the plug etc. So if we just give it a bit of a spray with WD, plug that into the back of the car and just check all those lights through, again it's just going to save you hassle when you actually come to use the van. Really we shouldn't have the handbrake on, so we want to make sure that the handbrake is off, but again we want to then chock our wheels so that the caravan can't move. But ideally if we can, leave that handbrake in the off position. If you've got a pneumatic jockey wheel, I would take the pressure off of that jockey wheel, so make sure all of the legs are down and then just take your pressure off the jockey wheel, and that's going to save that then. And then all of our lockers, these rubber seals, we're going to want to give those a nice rub round. You'll see that we get spiders and what have you in there, so we're going to give it a nice rub round, and then with a silicone spray we want to just give these a real good coating with a silicone spray. Again, actually in the aperture here we want to give this a real good wipe out, make sure there's no muck or anything on there, and make sure there's no leaks coming in as well. Our water connection, so we just want to give this a bit of a wash out and a clean out, make sure that is nice and clean. And again then all of the rest of our seals and all the other doors we want to do exactly the same, with giving them a bit of a wipe through, a clean. Same with all of our windows and window bars, as we said on the other side, and again then on our cassette toilet exactly the same. It might just be worth at this point in putting a little bit of water into our flush water system and just running that water pump through for the toilet cassette flush. We just want to make sure that it's not seized up and that it's actually still working okay. So it's a good time just to put a little bit of water in there. We don't really need any chemicals, but just pop a little bit of water in, flush a bit of water through, and then again we can empty our cassette out. If you do find that you're getting any black bits still coming through the system, again we did it at the end of the season last year, but we want to do it again now. Just a little bit of roughly 10% of bleach in our water, fill our system up, flush that through, that should hopefully kill all of the bacteria and the black bits that are in there, and then we'll flush that through with clean water again, and that should hopefully stop any more black bits arriving in our flush water system. And again, just make sure then that we drain it off fully. So depending on what system it is, you should have a drain tube of some sort on there where you can drain that water system completely back down again, and then just empty our cassette back out again. Should have a look inside and see what other checks that we should be doing just over the winter, ready for our coming season. Got no power, have I? If you can, it's a good idea just to whiz through, give the Caravan another clean through. You will just get flies and dust and whatever, so it's a good time again just to go through, give all of your surfaces a nice clean through. It allows us then, just on all of our window rubbers, again, just make sure that we've not had any leaks. On our front shelves, again, just make sure that we've not had any water come through any of the sills. We've had some quite bad storms, the frost, the snow, etc. So we just want to make sure that none of that has come through any of the seals and caused any leaks on our front shelf, because if we leave the water setting on there, it is going to cause damage. So just have a good look through, make sure that we've not got anything coming through, make sure all of our seals are okay. Again, it might be a good idea to actually open the windows up and spray all of our seals with a silicone spray on there again. And again, just make sure all of our catches for our window stays are all okay and it's all operational, and that the actual windows themselves haven't come stiff and are sticking. We want to have a good visual check through all of our cupboards, so we want to just make sure that we've had a good look through. On the Bailey Alitex, it's an aluminium panel, so on these we actually want to see and just make sure that we've got no signs of any water runs or anything like that, which is going to tell us that we've got a leak. If it's a standard construction where you've got a normal wall board fitted, again, we just want to have a good look. If you can see any of the little staples, just make sure that they've not gone rusty, etc. And again, any openings or fittings that come through the roof or through the body, just to make sure they've got no signs of water. We're going to want to do the same with our roof lights, so we're going to want to give these a good open up and probably just give these another quick go around with the cloth, and if there is a seal on them, again, just lubricate that seal up, because it's just going to make that a lot easier, stop any leaks and just make sure that the seal is actually doing what it should be doing. We're going to have a good look. If you've not already removed all of the cushions or that you've not had them in the upright position, we're going to want to have a good look all underneath of the beds again, make sure that we've got no signs of any water getting in anywhere. Give it a good wipe through, and just make sure, again, if there is any food residue or anything like that, it will attract mice, etc. So we just want to make sure that we've got no bits and pieces coming through. On our fridge, we should have had this on the vent setting and kept the door open, either had something in here, but we're going to want to just double check all of our hinges on our freezer door. So again, the hinges on these do tend to break down, so again, it's a good time. It gives us plenty of time now. If there's any little jobs that we need to do before the season, before we're going to use the van, it gives us time to order the parts and get those fitted ready for the season that we're coming to. And again, just a quick wipe through, make sure that we've got no funny smells coming through the fridge, etc.
It's a good idea to run it on the gas in case there are any spiders.
Yeah, again, cracking idea. You want to make sure that the system is working, so it's an ideal time to actually run it up on the gas. Even if you're in the middle of storage, your gas system is going to work. As long as you've got a battery on the Caravan, which again we'll be coming to shortly, we can run the system through on the gas. On our grill, etc., on our rings, we want to make sure we've got no spiders in our rings. It's a devil to get the spider out of your ring if you get that problem. So again, just giving these a run through on the gas, and that will just stop any issues. And then all of our other gas appliances, just do the same again. That is going to make your fridge and other items just work on the gas a little bit easier as well, by sort of not leaving them too long sat here, not being used if you haven't been. I'd mentioned our battery a second ago, which on the newer Baileys, the battery's actually floor mounted. Now, if you've got an external locker on a traditional van with your battery outside of, again, we're going to want to make sure that our battery's okay. If you do need to take it off, take it home, give it a good charge up, etc. Now is a cracking time to do that. If you've got solar panels, if you can, it might be worth getting a ladder up and just giving that solar panel a wipe over just to make sure that it's all going to work out okay. And again, just as we've done at the front, we want to go through all of our cupboards at the back, roof lights, our windows, etc., and just give everything a bit of a check through, just make sure we've got no issues. If there is any issues that have arose over the winter, we've caught it nice and early and it's not really going to do any damage and we can do something about it. And again, just giving things a once over, it allows you then, if there is a problem, you've got plenty of time now to get the caravan ready for the coming season, order things. Parts, unfortunately, at the moment are still a bit of a pain. There's still quite a long lead time on certain parts, so it gives you plenty of time now rather than the week before Easter thinking, right, okay, I'll best go and check the van now, I've not looked at it for 6 months, and then find that there's a problem and you can't get parts, etc. So if there's anything that we've forgotten, and there probably is, let us know in the comments, because again, it just helps everybody else. If you're enjoying the video, give us a thumbs up, and again, don't forget to subscribe. Couldn't get my words out there. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll mark at the caravan place.
Make sure there aren't any spiders in your crack.
Oh.